There's a particular kind of horror that lives inside the walls of a family home. The kind you don't see coming because you're not supposed to have to. Gary Jensen was a husband, a father. By all accounts, a man who showed up for the people he loved. And in April of 2017, someone inside that circle, someone he trusted completely, took his life. This case cuts deeper than most. Not because the crime was elaborate, but because it wasn't. It was personal. It was planned. And it was carried out by his own daughter. If you're new here, hit subscribe. This one's going to stay with you.
Did you drive yourself down to the hospital?
No, he drove me.
How did you get home from the hospital?
Any transportation.
Okay. You guys only have the one car, right? The truck?
Yes.
Was he supposed to come pick you up on Monday?
Yeah. First he was going to go take John, our friend forever, but he has AIDS. He was supposed to take him to get his medication because he was leaving for Connecticut to speak. He speaks to children and, different age people about AIDS. He never showed up for John, and he's never done that before. He'd never stand up shouting. He just wouldn't. What happened to him was Sunday evening between 11 and 1.
And when was the last time you actually spoke? Do you call him Jerry or Gerald?
Jerry.
Jerry. When was the last time you actually spoke to Jerry?
Sunday afternoon.
What time? Do you remember? If it this way, would have been after lunch?
It was after lunch before dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
About 2:30, something like that.
okay. Did he? What all did you guys talk about? Just normal stuff? Did he sound like he was having any issues, any problems?
No.
Okay.
So right away, you're hearing the foundation crack. Kristen's in the hospital. Gary's supposed to pick her up. He never shows. And here's the thing. She mentions he missed picking up their friend John, too. A man he'd never stood up before in his life. That's how you know something's wrong. Gary wasn't the kind of guy who just disappeared on people. He showed up, every time. So when he doesn't, when his truck's still there but he's gone, Kristen doesn't know it yet, but she's describing the aftermath of something she can't even imagine.
So, how many people live in your apartment down there? Who all lives there? It's you and Jerry.
Me and Jerry, Nikki and her boyfriend and the baby.
Okay. And is that one of the 2-bedroom ones down there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's Nicole's boyfriend's name?
Chris.
How do you like Chris?
I know.
What don't you like about him?
He's a lazy, inconsiderate rat. He's a piece of shit. I wish Nicole could see it, but she can't.
She's in love. Young and in love.
Very much.
How did it come about that he's living with you guys now?
Well, he just showed up. I've never asked. Nothing.
You ever think of throwing him out?
Every day.
You ever try to throw him out?
A couple times.
What happened?
He'd come back. Because Nikki would, they would just leave and come back and, expect me to apologize for getting them upset.
How did Jerry get along with Chris?
He didn't at all. They barely spoke.
And there it is. Kristen just called Christopher a lazy, inconsiderate rat and a piece of shit in under 10 seconds. Now here's what this clip doesn't tell you. Christopher wasn't just some mooch crashing on the couch. This is a guy who would later help murder the man whose home he was living in rent-free. He just showed up, never asked. And when Gary tried to throw him out, he'd come back. Gary and Christopher barely spoke. That silence wasn't awkward tension. It was a countdown.
How did Nicole get along with Jerry?
She never has really liked him much when they were little. She wasn't crazy about him then. And then, after she got out of school, in May, I think it was the most excellent month. I finally got a Mother's Day card and a birthday card, because Mother's Day's right there. And she was calling Jerry Dad. I think things are just great, and then all of a sudden,
Chris shows up. Okay.
yeah, she doesn't want to call him Dad anymore. I don't know.
Okay. So now you get home on Monday, and I'm assuming you tried to call the house on Monday. Did anybody answer the phone?
Nicole?
Nicole, and what did she say? Tell me how the conversation went with Nicole when you called the house on Monday.
Well, Chris has to leave for work. I have a doctor appointment, and then Chris has to go to work.
And what time was that?
About 1.
In the afternoon?
But I had started calling at 10:30.
Is that when you got released from the hospital at 10:30? Okay.
No, actually, it was around there. I can't remember exactly.
That's not going to hold you to the exact time. I mean, it's been a few days. You've had a lot going on. So you start calling the house, no answer. Cell phone still going to voicemail. But you finally get a hold of Nicole around 1:30. Okay.
And she called my mom to see if my mom could come and get me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was too sick, she couldn't.
Okay, so you got home around 5:30 then. Did you notice anything unusual when you got home?
I noticed there was a lot of paper, scripted paper on the floor, like from their mouse cage. It was everywhere.
Oh, they have a mouse?
A mouse, they have a ferret. And I could, those little pieces of paper were everywhere.
Do they use like shredded paper in the house? Okay.
Yeah. A shredded paper machine that you just found.
Okay.
Kid's a thief. I'm convinced of that.
So you get home, there's a lot of the shredded paper.
Yeah. It didn't really look weird. I mean, I walked up, the truck was there, and their car was there. I was like, oh my God. So I banged on the door really hard 3 times,
mm-hmm.
you know? And I did it twice, and finally Nikki came to the door. And I said, what's going on? Why is the truck here? Where is he?
Mm-hmm.
And she started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And apologizing. And I couldn't figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me by my hand and we walked down to the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
The bedspread was missing. There was stuff all over the place. And when I vacuumed the next morning, I picked up a piece or 2 of glass.
Okay.
So that's pretty weird right there.
Okay.
Please, don't die. For me. Tell me what happened. Tell me who.
Kristen walks in and the house smells like bleach. Shredded paper everywhere, glass on the floor, and Nicole is crying and apologizing before Kristen even asks a question. Now, what this clip doesn't show you is what police found when they hit that bedroom with luminol. Blood. Everywhere. Walls, floor, places someone had clearly tried to scrub clean. The bleach wasn't housekeeping. It was evidence destruction. And Nicole's tears at the door? That wasn't grief. That was a 17-year-old realizing the cleanup didn't work.
Kristen, this is Barbara. She's one of our victim advocate type of people that we have that provide support for people. And
I'm Barbara Rockwell. And that's what I'm here for, is just to provide some support for you and help you in any way I can. Okay?
What I need to do, I just want to finish our conversation here. And like I said, the reason why we call somebody like this, she's more equipped to provide, because I know you're very concerned and you have a million and one questions, and especially sometimes we can't answer them to the best of our ability or give you the support that you need. So that's why we have people help us out on this. But I did have a question for you. When you tell me that Nicole was apologizing to you, why was she apologizing to you?
Because she was so nasty with me on the phone.
Okay, is that what she was saying? Mom, I'm sorry I was nasty to you?
She didn't come out and say that. But
What did she say?
I'm just so sorry. And then when she explained to me what was going on, she kept saying she was sorry.
What did she say was going on?
That he'd been gone since Sunday night. He
Okay.
never came home.
Okay.
Notice what Nicole never actually says. Kristen asks her directly what she was apologizing for, and Nicole can't answer. She just repeats, "I'm so sorry," over and over like a loop. That's not confession. That's deflection dressed up as emotion. She's banking on her mother's love to fill in the blanks with something forgivable. And Kristen, who's battling her own demons with addiction and desperately wants to believe her daughter, is doing exactly that. She's rewriting, "I helped kill your husband," into, "I'm sorry I left you on the phone." The manipulation is surgical.
Did he tell you what he did? What did he say? Gary.
Where? In the head?
I think that's where he did. I didn't look.
Did he tell you how many times?
I think he said 3.
Did you ever see him? Did you see Jerry?
For a split second, but
Where was he?
in the bathroom.
Okay, it happened in the
On the
bathroom?
floor.
In the bathroom?
Yes, it was the bathroom door that was really broken.
Okay.
Did you switch the doors?
Yes.
Okay. What happened with Jerry's body? What did that do?
He grabbed them up and
In the comforter that's missing?
first he put him in his tarp.
Mm-hmm.
And then he covered him up with the blanket.
And then what?
Put him in his dumpster.
Look at me.
You put him in the dumpster, the one out by the house on this side?
Yes.
You didn't put him in the truck?
I put him in the truck from home to the dumpster.
So you brought the truck to the back of the house? And then you drove it to the dumpster?
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't, that's where you put him? Okay, you did not drive to West Palm Beach, you didn't drive to another dumpster?
No.
He was put in that dumpster?
Yes.
Look at me.
There's a floor mat in the back of that pickup truck. And it looks like it's got blood on it. Does that possibly come from the bathroom?
No.
You cleaned everything up?
Yes. I remember when they had to clean everything up.
How much blood was there?
Oh, God. I just want to take everything back before I can say anything. It was too late.
Okay.
I didn't want to do this.
As far as being in the bathroom, was he in the tub or was he on the floor of the bathroom? Where would he have been?
It was on the floor. And then after Chris put him in the tarp,
Nicole, where'd you get the tarp from? Or where did Chris get the tarp from?
we bought it because we like to go camping. We got it to cover our tent.
You didn't buy it just for this?
No, we bought it when we were in California.
Okay.
What about the sword? How long's Chris had that?
I don't know. He likes to collect them.
Was there drugs in Jerry's room?
She's walking investigators through disposing her father's body, like she's describing a grocery run. The bathroom door was really broken. You put him in the dumpster. You cleaned everything up. And Nicole just nods. This is the same girl Gary took in and tried to raise right, despite every dysfunction in that house. The man who worked to keep his family together, while Kristen struggled with addiction. And his daughter is calmly confirming she helped stuff him in a dumpster behind their home. 3 blows to the head with a samurai sword. That's not self-defense. That's execution.
I think so, but I'm not sure if it's what I thought it was.
Okay. We found some garbage in the dumpster today. Pill bottles, Jerry's pill bottles and stuff. How did you put those in there?
No.
No, you didn't clean that up. Everything you did was done on Monday?
Okay.
Okay, and when you moved to the dumpster, what time was that? If the attack happened at 7 in the morning, when did you bring him to the dumpster?
I think it was about 12.
Noontime? And you weren't afraid anybody was going to notice this?
I was.
Did anybody see you?
No.
Okay. Do you know what day they pick up the dumpsters? Do you know what day they come to pick up the dumpsters? You think it was when? Yesterday morning? So... Okay, so he was in the dumpster from Monday to Thursday? Yes? What was he doing while you were cleaning up?
Holding the baby.
He was holding the baby. Okay. All right, so he did a little cleaning, but not a lot of cleaning. But he had already put him in the tarp and then wrapped him in the comforter? Okay. You told me you saw Jerry for a time. Okay. I don't understand if whether, because one part you said he was wrapped up and then you said you saw him for a brief second.
It was when we walked back in our house after our walk. He was still there.
Christopher held the baby while Nicole cleaned up the murder scene. Let that sit for a second. This man helped kill Gary Jensen, and his contribution to the aftermath was childcare. Nicole did the scrubbing. Nicole hauled the evidence to the dumpster at noon like it was recycling day. And when sentencing came down, Christopher got life plus 60 years. Nicole took a plea deal for 50. The court recognized what the footage makes obvious. She was the architect. He was the muscle. Both got what the evidence demanded.
Nicole, what do you think Chris is going to tell us?
I don't know.
You think he'll tell the truth?
He might. I don't know.
Is he going to tell me you did this?
No.
Okay, Nicole, I got 2 more questions for you. And we're going to bring your baby over here and you can feed him. I guess your mom says he's hungry. So we're going to let you go across the hall here and sit on the couch. All right, so calm down about that. All right? Just 2 questions to wrap up. Back at the beginning, you said that you and Chris were talking about this and planning this for about 2 months. Was that accurate? Yep. Okay. Did you ever discuss how this was going to happen? I mean, what was the planning? I mean, we never really got into that.
When we mentioned, sleeping pills, making it look like both do so much drugs.
Right.
Because my mom has attempted it so many times.
Okay. That was one thing. Okay, but that wasn't this case. You guys didn't drug him first?
No.
Okay. Did you ever talk about the sword? Or did Chris ever talk about the sword? Did that come up?
It was probably going to be the basic weapon they used if we couldn't.
Okay, so that was discussed, that part of it. Is that, we can use the sword. What were the other options? That was it. Either we're going to do with pills or we're going to use a sword. Okay. At what time was it decided that, the sword was going to be it? When did you give up on the pills?
When night before.
The night before?
The whole night we were waiting.
Okay, so that whole night you guys were out there waiting. Okay. You don't sleep well at night? No? Alright.
We both have insomnia.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything we have forgot to ask that you think is important that we need to know? That's important.
I just want to know what's going to happen to me and my baby.
Well, we'll know that after we get done talking with Chris. Okay, we're going to talk to him next. And I told you we're going to bring him over and you're going to go feed him right now. Okay?
Is my mom in there?
No, your mom is down at the other end of the hall. Okay, it'll be just you and him.
Okay,
All right.
I don't think she wants to see me.
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to her yet, but it'll be you, him, and another detective will be, obviously, is going to be sitting on there. Okay? But we'll give you as much privacy as we can. We understand, breastfeeding is private. But we'll do the best we can. So there's nothing else you want to add for us.
That's it.
All right. Well. All right. Come on across the hall.
Good, Kyle.
2 months. They spent 2 months planning how to kill Gary Jensen. Pills or a sword. Those were the options on the table, like they were picking a restaurant. And what gets me is the question at the end. Is there anything we forgot to ask? Nicole has nothing to add. No remorse, no explanation. Just waiting to go breastfeed her baby. Gary spent years holding this family together through Kristen's addiction and financial strain. He deserved a daughter who saw him as a father. Instead, he got one who saw him as a problem with a 2-month deadline.
So really, I only want you to walk me through the last day that you guys saw Jerry, which would be Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Sunday? Yeah, Sunday.
Okay. Walk me
That'd
through.
be a very short day then. 'Cause
Okay.
The only time we saw him was in the morning. He cleaned out the guinea pig cage.
You guys have a guinea pig?
Kristen has a guinea pig and we're trying to get rid of it because it's a hassle. We have a ferret. Our ferret is not a hassle. Our ferret does not shed and our ferret does not attack things.
Okay.
We taught our ferret well.
Attack guinea pig. Never
Yeah,
heard of that.
no, the guinea pig will bite anybody that tries to grab it.
Okay.
So we're trying to.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish your Sunday story.
Yeah. Pretty much after that, we were in the living room all day. I think maybe in the afternoon he was going to go to the store. But I don't. Oh no, he left. He left. But I don't know if he actually went to the store. He was gone for maybe like an hour or so, I think. And then after that, he pretty much stayed in the room all day.
Is that normal for him?
That's normal for both him and Kristen.
Okay, they stay in the room.
Staying in the room all day. Unless she gets a burst of energy, she'll come out and clean for 3 days straight. That's irritating.
Okay.
And then after that, just before 11, I was in the bathroom.
11 morning or 11 at night?
Afternoon, at night.
Okay.
I was in the bathroom, doing my thing, and I overheard him talking on the phone. It was kind of muffled because it was through the wall. Talking on the phone, and it started getting louder and louder and louder, sounding like he was really pissed off at something. And because we had just got Kyle to sleep, we decided to go over to the library, Blake Library. And the library is closed at night, but their wireless internet is left on overnight. As long as we get out of there by 4:30, I think, we'll be fine. Because I think it's at 4:30 or 5 the sprinklers kick out.
Okay.
Not fun. We had that. So we went there until about 1:30. These aren't exact times. These are just general. Because I don't know the exact. But we got back home at about 1:30, and the house was just looked like a tornado went right through it.
Can you describe it for me, Chris?
Oh, stuff was all over the place. The newspapers that I have, because I'll go out and just before they take the newspapers out of the free newspaper stands, I'll go collect a bunch of them so that we can shred it for free mouse bedding, because we have mice too.
It's got just a rodent population
Oh
there,
yeah,
huh?
we like mice and ferrets. But I had a bunch of those, like maybe 15. They were thrown all over the place. My laptop was looked like it had been thrown across the room. The plug was taken apart. We used her laptop at the library. That has a bigger screen, so you can watch movies better on it. The whole house just looked just like that. You know, that's just living room. The whole house, like in the kitchen, there was not napkins, but hand towels and washcloths all over the floor. Not the bedroom door. It's not the bedroom door. We moved the bedroom door to the bathroom. The bathroom door was the one that was broken.
Okay, why did you move the door?
Because we need a bathroom door.
Okay.
And
Okay, that's a logical thing.
yeah, having my son in the house, having nurses come to the house, they're going to wonder why we don't have a bathroom door for one. And because it's not just me and my fiance in the house, you know, we want that.
Two other adults, right?
Mother-in-law's in the house. Your mother-in-law, or soon to be mother-in-law's in the house.
Yeah, so we wanted that privacy, so I went ahead and just moved the bathroom door over to, or the bedroom door over to the bathroom, and threw the bathroom door in the garbage.
Okay.
If I could show you on this door?
Sure.
It was split, like right about here, like almost in half.
What was the make of the door? Was it an cheap? Oh, cheap
really,
interior wooden door.
Really cheap. Like
Okay.
It was like cardboard mesh through it. That's how I got this cut.
Christopher talks for 6 minutes about guinea pigs and ferret care and newspaper shredding for mouse bedding before he gets anywhere near what actually matters. This is a guy who helped murder a man with a samurai sword less than 48 hours earlier, and he's rambling about rodent maintenance like he's filling dead air on a podcast. The detail about moving the bedroom door to the bathroom? That's not relevant information. That's a man who thinks if he keeps talking about nothing long enough, the detective will forget why he's actually there. Spoiler, he won't.
Because I was moving it and it slipped and I tried to grab it and I cut my hand.
All right. So even a kid could probably break through it or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I broke into a door just like that, by just pushing on it on accident.
Okay.
So it's a really flimsy door, you know. He could have fallen into it. He's really unstable. He fell off a ladder, when was it? Almost a year ago, probably. And it screwed up his nerve ending, so he walks with kind of a limp and a wobble. And he kind of stumbles when he walks sometimes, so he could easily just stumbled into the door and just broke it. I mean, it wouldn't have taken that much to break a door like that.
Was there any blood on the door?
Other than what came from my hand, I didn't see anything. I mean, there could have been, but had it dried, it was...
Because the door's still brown, dark brown
Yeah.
afterwards? Okay.
Yeah. So if there was any and it had dried, it would, I'm pretty sure, blended in with the door. I've seen plenty of dried blood, my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I know what color it turned. It would have probably blended in pretty good with that door. So unless I was actively looking for it, I wouldn't have noticed it.
Okay. So what did you guys do?
Well, I started cleaning the house. And after that, I mean, I'm allergic to bleach and ammonia. I've been allergic to it since I was 13. It just gives me a rash. But our bathroom needed like really deep cleaning anyway, so my wife went ahead and started cleaning the hell out of the bathroom, and I went and straightened everything else back up.
What was wrong that it needed a deep cleaning with bleach?
It hadn't been mopped or anything in 2 weeks, so we usually mop with bleach anyway, because it kills all the germs, especially in the bathroom with my son in the house. You know, we want to make sure there's no germs whatsoever. We don't want him getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually use bleach. We don't use any ammonia or anything, but.
Okay. Do you dilute it at all?
50%. 50-50 water and bleach.
Okay.
Because if it's any stronger than that, I have to leave the house because the smell of it.
I think you'd have to
So
leave
most
the entire
people leave the
neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think everybody that lives down there around you would have to leave
Yeah.
deep clean with any stronger solution than that. Okay, then what? What did you do with the door?
That I threw in the dumpster
Okay.
because, you know,
Where was Jerry?
when we came back, we didn't see him.
Was the truck there?
Yeah, the truck was there. Everything, as far as we knew, nothing was missing, you know, except for Jerry was gone.
Oh, he's allergic to bleach. That's convenient. The same bleach his wife was using to scrub Gary's blood off the bathroom floor. Christopher can't be near it. He's got a sensitivity. What he doesn't have is a sensitivity to lying through his teeth while a detective watches him explain away a broken door and a missing body, like it's all just unfortunate timing. The wobble excuse? Gary's old ladder injury supposedly explains the damaged door. But here's what Christopher doesn't know the detective already knows. Forensics found blood spatter patterns inconsistent with a stumble. That door didn't break from a fall. It broke during a struggle.
Nicole isn't too fond of her mom.
Ain't too many moms. Why is she not too fond of her mom?
Because her mom suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, and her mom either likes me or hates me and can't make up her mind.
Pretty fun day, right?
Practically. That's exactly what
That's just a typical mother-in-law. That's nothing but paranoid schizophrenia.
No. It's like, she'll say that she absolutely loves me, and then she'll start yelling that, you know, one dish was not washed and say that I'm the worst person in the world. Just because
That's just a mom.
I don't even do the dishes. I work, you know. We have this whole thing. I work, so I pay some of the bills. They do all the cleaning.
Okay.
I'll help my wife clean, you know, especially now that Kyle's here.
Are you guys actually married or not? Because I noticed she's wearing a matching ring.
Half and half. We haven't legally been married, but through our religion we've been married. So,
What religion is that?
Wicca.
Okay.
So, if we were...
Did you get married in a Wiccan ceremony?
Yeah. In fact, I was the one that actually performed the ceremony. It's just a two-person ceremony.
Are you like a priest?
I am a high priest.
Oh, no kidding. Cool. Don't understand it. Don't know much about it, but I heard of it. I know there's a group in Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely, just like Catholicism and Christianity, there's different types.
Right.
And I come from a very small type.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my priesthood just before going into the military, and they had nothing against going into the military.
Right.
So I was allowed to do that just to experience it, which is the reason why I wanted to join the military anyway. But
what are some of the things that you believe in? That's, you know, I don't know how different it is from Christianity, but explain in a short, if you can, on what the Wiccan religion is.
First and foremost, there are more than one God, which is almost a pretense. I mean, if God created man in His image, where did woman come from? Doesn't make sense for the Christian part.
Right.
So we believe. My sect believes in worshiping the elements of nature: earth, wind, water, fire, light, and dark.
Sure.
Dark being masculine, light being feminine, but they both intertwine. Most of it is just pretty much worship of nature. There's no sacrifices or anything. That's a completely different religion. That's paganism.
Right.
In a nutshell, and most of the Christian and Ten Commandments came originally from Wicca. You know, harm not your neighbor.
Right.
For us, it's the golden rule: and ye harm none, do what you will. Which pretty much means don't hurt yourself, don't hurt other people, don't hurt animals. Yeah.
People can be evil, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
People. Every human being is born with two seeds: the seed of good and the seed of evil. Okay, it's the basic principality of life. Yin and yang is the Chinese.
Right.
That, for us, is represented in the crown chakra, which is a little aura that sits right up here. People who are trained to see it can see either a light-colored glow, which would make them mostly good, or a reddish tint, which would make them kind of more evil.
A Wiccan high priest. Christopher just told a homicide detective he's a high priest who performed his own marriage ceremony and can see auras that reveal whether someone is good or evil. The man who helped murder his girlfriend's father is now lecturing on the golden rule and harm none your neighbor. Here's what the detective sitting across from him already knows. Christopher's military record shows he washed out of basic training after 6 weeks. No honorable discharge, no priesthood credentials on file anywhere. He's not a spiritual leader. He's a kid who watched too many fantasy movies and thought it made him interesting. The chakra talk isn't enlightenment. It's deflection dressed up in incense.
Are you upset that he's gone?
A little. You know, I'm upset because it's upsetting Kristen. You know, I have nothing against Kristen, even though she acts kind of strange sometimes. But, I mean, it's upsetting.
You don't miss him personally?
So really, no. I mean, but do I miss the fact that, you know, he was around and she wasn't going completely psychotic? Yeah. But I mean, it's just his whole demeanor, just since I got there in November, you know, just like snobbish. And I try to say something, I try to give him my hand with anything, and just be about it and say, no, I don't need your. And not necessarily like that, but that's pretty much the context of what I got. And then he'd sit there and start arguing, you know. I like to cook a lot, but I don't cook bland food. I add a lot of seasonings to it. He'll argue with me about the fact that I put seasoning on my food. And it's not the way it tastes, it's just the way it smells.
Okay.
Like, you can't just go outside to get away from the smell of seasonings, because if he eats it, he says it's good. But the seasoning upsets him when he smells it, because it smells to him like it's burning. You know, he just argues over the smallest things.
Is that like a constant thing with him?
Pretty much, at least once a week. He'll argue over the smallest thing with me.
How's Nicole get along with him? Because this isn't her dad, right?
No, she practically stays away from him. She doesn't like him either. It's just his whole personality towards me, she doesn't like it. So she stays away from him as much as possible. You know, if he comes out, she'll go in the living room. And lately, you know, while she's been breastfeeding, he seems to be coming out trying to watch her. So, you know, we've been just trying to stay out of his way. Usually we'll sit in the bedroom, but it's really hard for her to breastfeed on bed. So she goes out and sits in the rocking chair.
What's your gut feeling? Is he alive or is he dead?
Honestly, I only really get a gut feeling if I've known somebody well enough, and I don't know him well enough.
Okay.
To me, it seems like he just left. You know, I don't feel like he's dead, but I don't feel like he's around anymore. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the last time I had this kind
You don't expect him to come back?
Yeah, it's an iffy feeling. The last time I had this feeling was with my dad, who I barely knew. You know, he left the Christmas I was 7. Like, that was the last time we saw him. We saw him for about 3 days and then he was gone. And I had this kind of iffy feeling, you know. I was like, I'm not sure if he's coming back, but, you know, he could. And that's just how I'm feeling right now. It's kind of what I'm...
You think Jerry could come back now?
Maybe. I mean, if he's finally done being pissed off about everything. And unless he really did leave to go start a new life somewhere. I mean, it's not unheard of for a lot of people to do that. Like I explained, I've done it 3 times already. And I'm probably going to do it again, but this time I'm going to have a little more
baggage
to bring with me. I wouldn't say baggage. It's not baggage, but I have a little more to bring with me. Oh, wait, I guess you could say I did it 4 times because I left California with her. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what would you say if we tell you he's dead? I'm verifying he's dead. He was found at a landfill in Palm Beach County. How does that make you feel?
Horrible. I don't like it when people die, especially if I know them.
He's dead in the landfill.
Yep.
So this investigation is not a missing person investigation anymore, it's a homicide investigation.
Really?
Yep, it does. So, remember I told you at the house, and I told you and Nicole and Kristen that we're going to look at the family members first, because that's what we do, and then we back up and we go to the outside. So that's why Kristen, Nicole, and you were here being interviewed first, and then we go looking outside. All right?
Not really. I don't wish anybody did. Even if they're the biggest in the world.
Okay. Did you do anything to him?
No.
All right.
The only thing I'd ever done to him was argue. And we've gotten pretty intense in arguments before, to the point where I felt like I wanted to hit him, but I never did.
You
Okay.
have no idea how he got in that landfill?
No.
This is his cell phone records. We've already subpoenaed them. We already have them. He was last on his phone Sunday at 6:30 in the evening. He was not on his cell phone at 11 o'clock at night, like you said he was.
He doesn't like the smell of seasonings. Christopher just sat there and told the detective that Gary Jensen deserved animosity because he complained about spices. This is the justification. This is the grievance so unbearable it contributed to a man's death. And Nicole? She stays away from him and doesn't like him either. Her own father. The man who held that family together through Kristen's addiction and financial collapse. The man who kept showing up. Christopher's listing petty annoyances like they're war crimes, while the detective already has cell phone records proving Gary was dead by Sunday evening. Not missing. Dead. And Christopher's still workshopping his alibi about gut feelings, and maybe he'll come back.
And like Nicole said he was. He's not. We know he's not. Okay? You tell us that the house is all torn apart, yet you cleaned everything up. So from where I sit, we suspect you and Nicole. The mother's not there. Do you understand where I'm coming from? How it looks from my seat looking in?
Yeah.
You look guilty. Okay? Now, you told Detective Porcelli you've seen the CSI shows before.
Yeah.
You know what luminol is?
No.
Luminol is what the forensic detectives use to find evidence of blood that's been washed away. You can wash blood all you want. Use bleach, and it's going to leave behind. There could be blood in these walls and you can't see it. The luminol brings it out. Okay? We're there now. We've been there for hours. Since you left, we've been there. Okay? We have blood in the hallway. We have blood in the bathroom. We've got blood in the shop vac. All right? We know something happened to him in that house. All right? Mm-hmm. So now you know as much as we do. You and Nicole are there. Your story isn't matching up. So either you're going to change your story, or you're going to continue to tell me you don't know what happened, but you got to know something.
Well, I know he was talking to somebody.
Not at 11 o'clock at night he wasn't. That's there. We verified that. Okay?
Okay.
We found a sword under your bed. We luminoled the sword. There's blood trace on your sword. Okay?
I don't have a sword.
There's a sword under your bed.
All I collect is daggers.
Okay, well, I'm just going by what they told me from the scene. Okay? There's some kind of cutting instrument, a knife or a big knife or a sword. I'm going by what they called me. Under the bed, it's got trace amounts of blood on it. Okay, now that'll go to the lab and that DNA will come back and it's going to match. I'm confident it'll match Jerry's. Okay? Initially, we were told that it was the bedroom door that was kicked in. And then today, it was the bathroom and we're changing doors. Fine. Okay? I've got too many inconsistencies here, Chris.
Well, I told Kristen that it was that happened.
All right. Well, with the police, since Monday, have been kind of involved in this. What the point I'm trying to get to you is that right now, you look guiltier than hell. Guiltier than hell. You don't like him. He doesn't like you.
And doesn't like him either.
Right, well, that's true too. And he says something to piss you off, you knock him over the head, you hit him, I don't know. All right? But he's dead in a landfill. Okay? And they can tell us that garbage came from Martin County. They can tell us what geographic area the dumpster came from. Astor Wood is in that geographic area. And what this is called is the circumstantial evidence. And it is so building up right now that Jerry ended up in that dumpster and then ended up in a landfill, and then by the grace of God was found by the guys moving garbage around. Okay? Now I know what killed him. They've told us what killed him. Okay? He got his throat, and a couple times too. We have a knife, a dagger, a sword, whatever, under your bed with trace amounts of blood. We have a crime scene that's been cleaned up. It's been cleaned up, but we can see it. We know. All right? We have a shop vac in the house. Okay? You and Nicole are going to be blamed for this. All right? If something happened and it was self-defense or you snapped, you've been a good person your whole life and you told us all about your religion, okay? And things happen. People don't mean for things to happen, but they do. Okay?
Or Nicole snapped. She doesn't like him. She's not happy with her mother. You've got a new baby in the house. She's not getting any sleep. But
tell me what happened.
I'm telling you what I know.
Watch the detective work here. He's laying out every piece of evidence like cards on a table. Luminol in the hallway, blood in the bathroom, blood in the shop, a sword under Christopher's bed with trace amounts still on it. And Christopher's response? I don't have a sword. All I collect is daggers. That's his defense. A semantic argument about blade classification while forensics is literally glowing in his house. The detective even tells him the garbage can be traced to Wharton County. They know where Gary's body came from. They know what killed him. Multiple wounds to the throat. And Christopher just keeps workshopping. Still workshopping.
I don't know. He's pissed off over everything, it seems these days.
Okay, well, what brought us to the point of Jerry ending up in a landfill?
I just didn't even think, I just reacted.
Did he do or say something to you to make you react?
He tried to attack me. He tried to attack her.
When did this happen?
Early morning.
Sunday or Monday?
Monday.
About what time?
5 or 6.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. So the house was never in disarray?
It was, but I mean,
As a result of what?
I don't know. You know, we left and came back and did a bunch of cleaning. We really did do that. We went to the library, 11 to 1:30-ish. Came back, and I'm assuming he did get pissed off.
Okay. But whatever happened to him happened later that morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he described you said he's coming out to, describe what happened.
Well, I'm in the kitchen, and I go to the bedroom. I was in the kitchen getting breakfast. Go to the bedroom, and he starts coming out of the room, yelling. And every time, ever since I was a kid, I've had a problem with somebody yelling at me. I would instinctively grab anything around me if I had to fight. I don't like to fight. I don't like brutality. If I can get out, I can. But being in a room like that, you're cornered.
Mm-hmm.
Instinctively, I just grabbed the nearest thing to me.
What was it?
Double-sided sword.
Mm-hmm.
He lunged at me, and I kicked him back into the hallway, and I tried to run out the door, and he grabbed me, and I lost it.
Where did he grab you at?
Right around my neck.
Okay, you lost it. What do you mean? You got to describe that for us.
I just turned around and tried to break out of it, and it ended up. I didn't mean.
Where'd
right through here. And then after that, I just saw red and kept going.
you multiple times?
Yeah,
Where?
I don't even remember. It just happened so fast.
Where do you think?
A couple more in the lung, probably in the throat, so he couldn't say anything. I don't know.
Where did this occur exactly in the house?
Just outside the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. How did the bathroom door break?
Him falling backwards into it.
Okay.
Where was Nicole at?
Walking. Kyle has a problem sleeping, so we usually take him out for a walk because the house is too smoky.
So she wasn't home? Okay, then what happened? He fell into the bathroom?
After that, I just left. I had a little bit of blood on my hands, and I just cleaned it off.
Okay, and then you come back?
And then we just clean it up.
So we know what happened based on the crime scene, and we know what happened based on what Nicole told us. So there's some things you told us that aren't true. And you know which things they are.
Now he's in self-defense mode. He lunged at me. He grabbed my neck. I just saw red. Classic reactive violence framing. But here's the problem. Gary Jensen was 53 years old and had no history of physical aggression. Christopher is 22 and built like someone who failed basic training for attitude, not fitness. The power dynamic doesn't support this story. And notice how Nicole conveniently wasn't home? She was on a walk during the exact window her father was being hacked apart. 2 months of planning, and she just happened to miss it? The detective knows. He tells Christopher directly, "There's some things you told us that aren't true." Understatement of the year.
Did you figure that was going to be your last shot? Since Kristen was coming home anyways that day?
No, because I could have easily killed them both.
Would you have killed them both?
No.
Okay.
I really...
I mean, really, as much as Nicole might not get along with her mother, would you kill your wife's mother? It's easier for him since he's just a step.
No. Doesn't matter who it is, it's not easy.
Maybe this would have been, maybe it would have been a less of an impact on her mental health.
In my heart, I feel he was an evil person.
What makes him an evil person?
He his wife.
I'm asking your opinion, that's
He
it.
would constantly come out whenever my wife was sitting there trying to breastfeed our son. Like he was trying to be a peeping Tom about it.
Okay.
He cheated on his wife.
There's a lot of bad things about him that you just did not like.
That's not something a human being should be doing.
A good human being.
Any human being, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be doing it.
I concur as a father. I wouldn't like that either.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's justifying murder because Gary allegedly looked at his own wife while she was breastfeeding. That's where we're at. Let me be clear about something the clip doesn't tell you. Gary Jensen worked doubles to keep that household afloat, while Kristen battled addiction. He held that family together for years. And Christopher's big moral stand? He cheated on his wife. He's not a good human being. This from the man who swung a samurai sword 3 times into that same human being's skull. The audacity isn't even impressive anymore. It's just sad.
Do this, Chris. You say you're not a violent person by nature. You really don't like violence. You're not a brutal person. You can't even watch cop brutality, or what you think was fighting or anything on TV is just cop brutality, whatnot. Had you guys discussed any other way, maybe like a more passive way to kill him?
Yeah, sleeping pills.
What were you going to do with them?
Mix them into everything they drink, because we don't drink anything they drink except for the milk.
Do you think they would have killed them?
That would have been nice.
Why? What happened to that plan?
Every time we put sleeping pills in something, they would stop drinking it.
Oh, you tried it? How many times did you try that?
3. She had nothing to do with that one. At all.
She doesn't know that you tried that?
She knows I tried it, but I mean...
Where did you get the pills from?
Walmart.
What kind of pills were they?
The generic kind. They're really cheap. Sleep aid from...
Okay, that's what they're sleeping pills? Like the Equate brand, like the Walmart brand sleeping pills?
It's not Equate, it's something else. But yeah.
A sleep aid.
Kristen had been drinking again. We tried to mix it in with her pineapple juice. The next...
Sleeping pills in the pineapple juice. That was the backup plan. Let that sink in for a second. They didn't just wake up one day and decide to kill Gary Jensen. They workshopped it. They tested methods. Christopher sat there and admitted to poisoning attempts that Nicole allegedly didn't even know about. Multiple tries. And when that didn't work fast enough, they graduated to a samurai sword. This is where I need you to understand what we've actually watched across this entire case. A man who worked doubles to keep his family afloat. A man who stayed when staying was hard. A man whose wife battled addiction and whose household was falling apart around him and who still showed up every single day. Gary Jensen held that family together with his bare hands for years. And his reward was 2 people in his own home treating his murder like a science project with a trial and error phase. The justice system did what it could here. Christopher got life plus 60 years. Nicole took her plea deal and got 50. And earlier this month, her appeal was denied. The court looked at her arguments and said, no, you don't get to renegotiate after the fact. You planned this. You executed this. You cleaned up after this. The sentence stands. But here's what sits with me as we close this out. Justice was served in the legal sense. 2 people who took a man's life will spend decades behind bars. Christopher will die in prison. Nicole won't see freedom until she's in her 70s if she lives that long. The system worked the way it's supposed to work. And yet, Gary Jensen is still gone. His grandchild will grow up without him. Kristen lost her husband to her own daughter. That's not something a verdict fixes. That's not something time heals. That's a wound that reshapes every holiday and every family gathering and every quiet moment for the rest of their lives. What this case keeps showing us is something bigger than one family's tragedy. The documentary that dropped earlier this month has people talking again, and they should be talking. Because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Kristen's addiction, the financial strain, the dysfunction that let Christopher burrow into that household like a parasite, the warning signs that went unaddressed until it was too late. Local organizations have started outreach programs specifically because of what happened here. There's even legislation being proposed to improve support systems for families dealing with exactly these kinds of compounding crises. That's the Jensen Effect, they're calling it now. A term nobody wanted to coin, a legacy nobody asked for. But if something good comes from this horror, then maybe Gary's memory serves a purpose beyond grief. I've covered a lot of cases on this channel, seen a lot of people justify the unjustifiable. But there's something uniquely gutting about watching someone's own child treat their death as an inconvenience to be solved. Gary deserved better. He deserved a daughter who saw his sacrifices. He deserved to grow old and meet more grandchildren, and retire someday from those double shifts. He deserved a life. Instead, he got sleeping pills in his juice, and when that failed, a sword to the skull, from the two people he let live under his roof. If this case has you thinking about how domestic dysfunction spirals into something unthinkable, then you might want to watch the one I covered recently. Different family, different circumstances. A husband who became obsessed with a 17-year-old and decided his wife was the obstacle. Same lesson though. The people closest to us can become the most dangerous, and by the time you see it coming, it's already too late. Rest easy, Gary. You deserved so much better than this.